Lovely. Okay, good evening. Welcome to the webinar. Tonight's webinar, we're going to be focusing on finding your voice, self-expression. And that can show up in lots of different ways, places where we don't feel that we can express ourselves. Someone's asking, can I see? I can't see you. Anyone who's here live, no, I can't see you. I can just see your name and your comment in the chat box. Otherwise, I can just see me. So I'm basically talking to myself. But you're here, so that's great. So no, I can't see anyone. Nobody can see you. I can see your comments, but I will make them anonymous. Good. So I just have your names. Great. Okay. Good. So before we get started, just take a breath. Feet on the floor. Close your eyes. Check in with your body. Bring your attention to the top of your head and just scan down through your body, noticing any tension, any heaviness. How has your day been? How have you been getting to this point? Just put any stresses and strains, any issues getting to here, just put them away. Let them fall away. You can pick them up afterwards if you want to, or you can let them fall away. So just breathing, noticing your body. And sometimes we don't even recognize how much stress we're carrying around or tension. So you might suddenly think, oh, my shoulders are a bit tight. But just take a moment now to scan through every muscle, down your shoulders and spine, hips and legs down to the ground. How are you feeling? And you can put your hands over your heart and just take 3 deep breaths in your own time into your heart, in and out easily. And as you breathe in, notice the tension. And as you breathe out, let that go. Good. Releasing. And one more if you haven't already, breathing in. And letting that go. And then you can just roll your shoulders a few times and just come back and open your eyes when you're ready. Good. So sometimes just taking 3 breaths like that can really help to change how you're feeling, shift your energy, just taking stock of where you are. We spend a lot of time racing to be on the next thing, or when I've done this, I'll do this. And it's quite, well, I doesn't say it's difficult, but it's not difficult. You've just done it. But just to be here, just to kind of stop and check and go, yeah, I'm okay. That's a really nice thing to do. Good. So just to familiarize yourself with the buttons, if you haven't already, you can raise your hand if you need to. You can use the chat box. Anything you say, I will not share your name, but the more specific you can be and the more you contribute and tell me what you're experiencing, the more you're going to benefit from it. So if you can tell me what you're experiencing when I ask you, then that would be really helpful for me and for you. And that's it. Apart from that, it's very simple. Let's get going. So before we start to do any work, it's really helpful to have an intention. So a specific goal around this topic. So someone's just said this is a really good topic. So hopefully this is going to be really helpful for a lot of people. So finding your voice is quite a broad subject, really. So I've narrowed it down to things like, do you ever bite your tongue? Do you stop yourself from saying something because you're worried about what the other person might think or how they might react? Do you hold yourself back in the same way? Like, are you not going for interviews, for example, because you're worried about public speaking, or even going to parties or social situations? Is there something there about being seen, being heard? Is that difficult for you? Do you not feel confident that you have your own opinion? So sometimes you might just go, oh, I don't really know. I'll go with what they think, whoever I'm with. I can remember a long time ago saying to somebody, talking about karaoke parties and saying, oh, I love karaoke. Yeah, it's brilliant. And then talking to the same person with a friend a few weeks later and saying I didn't like karaoke. And she's like, you said you liked it. And it was really like I didn't really mind either way, but I told 2 people exactly the opposite thing because I wanted to do what fit in with what they felt. So it was a real kind of a wake-up call of like, well, what do I like again? I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, I suppose. But it's about like, what is your opinion? If you're not sure what your opinion is, that's another sign of being afraid of expressing. Again, fear of public speaking, that can go back to all sorts of things. I've worked with somebody who had a fear of standing up in front of her colleagues, and she could sit with them all the time, felt completely normal working with them. But when she had to stand up and give a meeting, she would go straight into fight or flight, basically. So certain situations triggered her anxiety, and we traced that back to an incident in the playground where she felt self-conscious. So we have different triggers. So sometimes this is okay and sometimes it's not. So what is it for you that you'd like to change? And maybe you feel overwhelmed when it's time to express yourself. And that might not just be verbal. It could be maybe you want to write more, or cook something and you're worried about what people think. So it's some kind of expression where you don't feel safe. So have a think about what that might be. I'd love you to share that with me. So what your intention might be for the session. It might just be an overall general thing, but what is it you would like to change? And as you think about this thing you'd like to change, so someone's saying, great, I have no problem expressing myself and saying what I think, not rudely. It's so important to be authentic, but get very hurt and short of sleep if the recipient is rude or tries to silence me, and it's happened in committees, etc. Okay, so you don't have a problem with speaking up, but you've noticed the reaction of other people can be really hurtful. So although it doesn't stop you, that's the reaction that you have. Feeling like myself at the school gates. Oh yes, this is a really familiar one. Yeah, just being able to rock up and be yourself. The confidence to say no and set boundaries. Great. I point out that the emperor is wearing no clothes. So great. So you can call out what the problem is. Got no problem saying what the issue is, but sometimes you're hurt when other people want to suppress that. That's what that sounds like. Okay. Good. So confidence to say no and set boundaries. Great. So some people are feeling able to express themselves, but there's a reaction afterwards. And some people just saying more confidence to say no. Great. Feeling like myself. Good. Good. So having that in mind, whatever it is that maybe you can picture yourself doing this particular behavior. It's very stressful for me, especially now when I feel like I'm expressing my voice and setting these boundaries, but people want to take up for them. So it can be very stressful to be out there saying it and setting the boundaries. So that's a really difficult, even though you're doing it, you find it stressful. Okay. So imagine yourself doing the behavior that you want. So maybe expressing yourself and feeling calm, or expressing yourself and being heard and not being shut down. And how far away from that do you feel? Does that feel like a distant dream, like it will never happen? Kind of get into the feeling of that. Notice what that feels like in your body. What are the thoughts that are coming up? I can't do it, or it will never be me. Just notice the resistance. Notice what it feels like. And when you start to think about that situation, what happens to your body? What does that stress feel like in your body? So right now I'm not feeling heard when I set a boundary. Great. That's really clear. And what does that feel like in your body? When I'm not heard, when I set a boundary, what does that feel like? So just notice the issue that you want to change, the intention you want to change. When you think about it and it's not happening, what is the stress in your body? So the classic fight or flight response is a feeling in your chest, tightness, or butterflies in your tummy, or wobbly legs. You might have cold hands and feet, racing heart. You might feel a shift in your body. Notice what that is like now. Good. So what we're going to be doing is clearing some of this stress and hopefully digging into a point in the past where this was set up. We're going to do that in a very safe way. I feel very tired and exhausted physically and mentally. I don't have the energy because I feel drained. So that's a real, I can get into what you're saying when you feel drained. It's kind of like it's taking so much energy to express myself and it's not working. Someone else says it's stressful, fuzzy in my head and a bit spinny. So a bit ungrounded. Great. So don't worry, we're going to tap through and work through this. Causes brain fog. Fear people won't like me if I express my thoughts. I'll be criticised. So what would that criticism lead to? We often have these core beliefs that I might be abandoned, I'm going to fail, or people won't like me. Those are the sort of three core beliefs that tend to be underneath. I'm not good enough. I'm going to be abandoned. Okay, so I'm going to be criticised. Yeah, I want to be liked. So we're all kind of, in the playground, 5 years old, really wanting to fit in. That's underneath a lot of people. And that's from an evolutionary point of view, we needed to stay as part of the group. So we needed to be included. So you don't want to rock the boat too much. If you put your head above the parapet, you're going to get shot down. So it's like a self-preservation. But things don't have to be like that. You can express yourself and stay as the group. All of a sudden I feel like the black sheep, the outcast. Okay. Absolutely. One form it could take is being to let go from a forum. If the others are too weak to hear important things you have to say. Okay. So there's that abandonment. So if other people gang up on me or if I'm too outspoken, I'm going to be kicked out. Okay, so let's start to do some work on starting to clear this. We've got some really good idea of what it feels like, what the situations are like that we want to change. So close your eyes, breathe into that. Take a few breaths. And if there's a color or an energy that would help to start to dissolve and clear this issue, then just bring that in. Good. Okay. And then we're going to tap through the points. So you can keep your eyes closed, keep one hand over your heart, and I'll tell you where to tap. We're going to be quite general to start with. So tapping on the top of the head and repeating after me. This ungrounded feeling. And beginning of the eyebrow. This brain fog. Side of the eye. This stress when I think about expressing myself. Under the eye. And what that might lead to. Under the nose. All this stress in my body. On the chin. I don't really like thinking about this. Collarbone. But I know I want this to be different. Under the arm. All this stress on the thumb. All these triggers. First finger. This tension in my body. Middle finger. When I think about expressing myself. Ring finger. Or I think about finding my voice. Little finger. All this stress in my body. Side of the hand. Starting to let that go. Good. Over the head. I want this to be different. Beginning of the eyebrow. I know I can do this differently. Side of the eye. I bet if I thought hard enough, I could find a similar situation. A situation where things worked out. Under the nose. I wonder if I could do this differently. The chin. I'd really like to do things differently. Collarbone. I'd like to be able to express myself. Under the arm. I'd like to feel free to say what I want to say. On the thumb. Without the fear of being rejected. First finger. Without the fear of being criticized. Middle finger. I know that I want to be liked. Ring finger. And I assume I know what other people want. Middle finger. But maybe that's not right. Side of the hand. All this stress in my body. Top of the head. It's about how I feel. Beginning of the eyebrow. And how I think people will react. Side of the eye. If I was more confident in myself. Under the eye. And if I didn't worry about how people reacted to me. Under the nose. Maybe I would feel differently. On the chin. This reaction is a message from my past. Collarbone. It's a message from my unconscious. Under the arm. My subconscious mind remembers everything I've been through. And it remembers when things didn't go so well. First finger. And it's looking after me really well. Middle finger. Reminding me of those things that happened before. Ring finger. And doing its best to keep me safe. Little finger. When actually it's making things worse. Side of the hand. I know my mind and my body are trying to help me. Top of the head. But this stress comes from me. Beginning of the eyebrow. This reaction comes from my mind. Side of the eye. And there are lots of ways that I could react. Under the eye. And I'm willing to look at this. Under the nose. And to find another way of doing it. On the chin. I'm open to the possibility of this being different. Collarbone. I would really like to be able to express myself. Under the arm. I would like to feel free. On the thumb. I would like to be heard and understood. First finger. I would like my opinions to be valued. Middle finger. I would like to be seen. Ring finger. I have a valuable input. Little finger. And I'd like that to be seen and heard. Side of the hand. I'm just noticing all of this. And I'm feeling better already. Good. Lovely. And just bringing yourself back to the here and now. Stop tapping for a moment and just take a few breaths. And just notice what that felt like. That was quite general. We're going through some different thoughts and opinions. And just let me know how that felt, what resonated, if you felt any shifts. So you might say a phrase and think, that's not true. Or you might say a phrase and go, oh, I feel a relief. And that's a really good sign. Feeling very grounded. Good. And when we think about doing things differently and maybe being seen and being heard, how does that feel? Oh, a few more people joining. Hi. So were there any particular phrases that you noticed that you really resonated with? Preparedness to do things differently is quite a big deal. Words are useful. Thank you. Good. And that's the thing. The unconscious makes decisions. And someone's saying, yeah, how willing are we really? Absolutely. The unconscious makes a decision and decides how the world works. And it will stick to that until we do something differently. So there's a fear about change might go wrong. Great. Really good to notice that. So what's under them might go wrong? What would that lead to? What's underneath that? Is that more of the same? Does that reinforce if I get it wrong, then I'm going to be abandoned. If I get it wrong, then I'll feel like a failure. So it's that maybe it's the same and different aspect of the same belief. So we're looking and unpicking all these different reactions. So you're absolutely right. Are we willing to change? I think the unconscious mind wants us to be free. Its primary purpose of the unconscious mind is to keep us safe. So if it has a program running that public speaking or being expressive will cause danger, then it's going to keep you from in every way it can from expressing yourself. But when the unconscious and the conscious mind are in alignment, and when things are, and you're being authentic and you're able to express yourself, then you feel safer to be yourself because you don't have to worry about what you're saying. When you can get the unconscious on side, it's going to be everything working for you. But yeah, change is scary. We're programmed to stay the same, better the devil you know, all of those things, which is why we do this in a really nice, safe way. So in a moment, we're going to imagine a moment in the past where things didn't go well around public speaking. She says, falling over her words. And we're going to sort of float above that event and notice what it taught us. What do we learn in that moment? We're going to get any positive intentions. Good. So any other thoughts coming up? Let me know. How are you feeling now? Tune into that original issue that you want to clear, that intention. Is that starting to shift? Ready to let it go. Lovely. So you're looking for more confidence and to set your boundaries. Good. Have a swig of water if you need to. And again, take a moment, close your eyes and just scan through your body. Notice how you're feeling now after a few rounds of tapping. If you've tapped a lot before, you'll notice that you quickly get into a more relaxed and calmer state. Chilled, good, chilled, good. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to tap a little bit more. And then we're going to see if we can find the sources of some of these fears. Okay, so we're just going to tap on the collarbone while we do this. And you can tap quite slowly and breathe. Great. So you've done some Qigong this afternoon, which has some similarities to this. Good. So you're in the right place, good energy for recognizing and releasing this. And I've noticed someone else as well on Instagram. A few people this week have been talking about expressing yourselves. And it's always, you know, kind of notice the things that you're noticing. Okay, so let's just get into this. We're going to ask the unconscious mind to get on side to help us to clear this. So you can say this out loud, you can type it in if you want to, but you can carry on tapping if you want to. So is it all right for your unconscious mind to release this fear today and for you to be aware of it consciously? And if there's any resistance to that, then you might need to shift the intention a little bit, scale it down. Good. And now we're going to sort of float up above your timeline, up above your life, and allow your unconscious mind to float back into the past to a moment, if it was resolved, would release and dissolve this belief, this fear. Just tap gently and allow your mind to take you to memory, not going into that memory, just floating above it. And that might be an image. It's okay. Saying don't apologize, not commenting, that's fine. You're good. Okay. So allow your mind to float over the past to a time. The very first time this pattern was set up, the mind made the decision to change its expression. Notice what that feels like. And gently tap on the collarbone and breathe. And just allow any realizations, any learnings from that moment to bubble up to the surface. What did it teach you? What was the positive intention? So there might be things like staying safe, being liked, being loved, not being abandoned. Just allow realizations, noticings just to come up. And breathe. And keep breathing and tapping and allowing any unresolved pain, any unresolved decisions from that moment just to clear. Your unconscious knows how to undo this. It knows how to create something else. You can just breathe and allow. Good. Just going to keep tapping just for a moment. And then shortly we're going to drop into that memory and see how it feels. But for now, great realization. Keeping quiet has prevented pain from others in the past. Fantastic realization. It really worked then, so the mind's going to keep doing it. And just to bring reassurance to your unconscious that we're not asking it to suddenly start shouting from the rooftops and pushing your opinion down on people's throats or inflicting pain on people. That's not the intention. The intention is to be able to be free, to speak freely without worrying about the impact. What can prevent change is feeling you're letting yourself down from not going in all guns blazing. Okay, interesting. So the thing that's stopping change is that you might somehow lose some of your power, that sounds like. So you've got to be out. And now if you're not all guns blazing, then you're letting yourself down somehow. So again, we're not asking anything to change. There's just a different energy behind it. So just to bring that reassurance to your unconscious. and that you can absolutely carry on doing what you're doing. We're just looking at all of this, noticing the reactions, allowing things to unfold. Good. There's some fantastic realizations coming up. Good. Lovely. So you can just stop tapping for a moment and breathe into your heart. Keeping your eyes closed, but drop down into that memory if you can, if that feels okay. If you want to stay above it, that's fine, but just drop down, have a look around. Get a sense of any emotions in there. If there's anything else that you can learn, that you can change. Any softening you can bring, qualities, peace, resolution, understanding, expression, communication. Just allow this image to reset, to release, to evolve. Good. And if you do feel any emotion in there or any stress, you can just tap and breathe and come up above it if it feels difficult. And breathe and know this is just an image from your past, a moment in time that got stuck. That's all our memories are. It was important for your unconscious because it needed you to remember that something might happen if you do this. And now you're just having a new realization that actually it's safe to express, it's safe to speak, it's safe to be heard. That speaking up is part of your value, your right. And there are many ways of doing that, and speaking up doesn't necessarily cause pain. Lovely. So take a breath, let's pause for a moment and just stretch back into your body, very gently bringing your awareness back to the here and now. Just come back into the room, nice deep breaths. We can go back and check in a moment with that image. Just let me know how you're doing. We're doing slightly differently today, so it'd be great to see how you're finding it, what you're realizing, what you're noticing. And if you can share the image and what happened, that would be great too. I'd love to hear. Or if that was difficult, let me know too. This one's saying she joined late and she's going to come back and watch it. Yeah, from the beginning. Great. Thanks for sharing and enjoy. Have a nice dinner. No problem at all. Okay. So that was powerful. It felt so strong. Realization that it's safe to be me. It's safe not to be liked, and being me is enough. Isn't that powerful? Just to know it doesn't matter if people don't like me. It doesn't matter if I upset somebody. That's okay. Is the idea that tapping releases set patterns? Yeah, absolutely. As we acknowledge and tap through, we release any basically sort of blocked energy around that. So where things get frozen in time. So it's as if something's always happened, never happening at the same time. And as we tap through and acknowledge what's happening, we're starting to move and create resolution so that the emotions move through, the decisions move through. So when we have a traumatic memory like that, or a difficult memory, when you think about it, you have the emotions still. That just shows it's a moment that's frozen in time. So the tapping releases the decision, the emotion, and allows flow. That's what was happening there. So yeah, another way of putting that is that we're looking at the moment's core belief decisions were made. So you might make a decision in a moment of going, well, it's not safe to speak up. That's a thought that feels really true in that moment. And then it becomes a belief because we think it again and again and again and again. A belief is just a thought that we keep thinking. So when we start to acknowledge the thoughts, the beliefs, tap to release them, then that starts to clear that belief from your whole energy system. So that a belief is also like a filter. So if you have a belief that I'm not good enough, it's like wearing I'm not good enough glasses, and everything you see will be, you're looking through this belief that I'm not good enough. The same way, if you have a belief that if I speak up, I will hurt people, everything you see will be through that lens. That's a belief that's impacting everything, every part of your life. Some beliefs and some patterns are only true some of the time. So sometimes I feel fine, sometimes I don't. Sometimes this issue affects me, sometimes it doesn't. that would indicate something called a parts separation, where there's kind of sort of like two sides of the same coin that are feeling opposite things. So it's not a core belief. A belief you feel all the time in all areas of your life, and a part would be something you just feel in one area of your life. I hope that makes sense. So I think a very real fear some could have is even if we find our voice become more assertive, less aggressive, the controlling other takes no notice and we don't get traction with their blocking. They can easily gaslight us so we're made to feel in the wrong, even unbalanced, when this is often a projection. Absolutely. So again, this is why we're not trying to change anything. We're not expecting a different behavior. You could be doing exactly the same thing. You might be saying the same thing, but you have a different energy behind you. So you feel more confident. You might say, well, I'm not going to speak up right now, and I'm happy about that, rather than I can't speak up. Or I'm going to have this conversation with this person. I'm going to say exactly what I said last time, and I don't care how they respond. So it's not about becoming more assertive necessarily. It's just feeling differently as you're being you. If that makes more sense, being more authentic. So really, it's about how you feel, and it's nothing to do with the other person. The other person is just a reflection. Good. So how is everyone feeling? We're talking a lot. How are you getting on now? Check in with your body. Check in with that feeling. I'm going to do some more tapping in a moment so we can really clear through. So I'd like to know how you're getting on, how you're feeling right now. I'm going to start setting up some good boundaries. Yeah, so to reiterate, the other person is a projection. It's your opinion of them is about you. So you can practice almost talking to a wall and see how you feel and what do you think they would, because that's their reaction is nothing to do with them. So if you want to practice a conversation or practice speaking up, literally you can talk to inanimate objects and you might still have a reaction. I can't say that because that might hurt, you know? So it's like, that's a real sense of, well, that's about me, not about them. Communication is feedback. Okay, so no one's telling me how they feel. So good. It is great to discuss things with you, and I hope it's helpful for everybody too, just to look at all the different complexities of finding a voice. So check in with your body. How are you feeling right now? How was that to go back? How's the stress in your body? Just come right back to how you're feeling now. Is it in your head, in your shoulders? What are you feeling when you think about expressing yourself? Everyone's gone quiet. So in a moment, we're going to tap through, clear anything out, and then increase some boundaries, and see yourself in the future having achieved the goal. Okay. All right, so we'll do some general tapping. So one hand over your heart, and let's tap on top of the head, and repeating after me. All these things I've been thinking. And beginning the eyebrow. I've been thinking about expressing myself. Side of the eye. I've been looking at my past. Under the eye, and having all sorts of different reactions. Under the nose, and remembering different things. Collarbone, and feeling some shifts. Collarbone. All these reactions in my body. Under the arm. All these thoughts and feelings. On the thumb. Feeling calmer. First finger. I don't have to change. Middle finger. I can find my voice. Ring finger. And still be me. Little finger. I can speak up. Side of the hand. And not worry about what people think. Top of the head. Or I can stay quiet. Beginning of the eyebrow. And not worry about what people think. Side of the eye. I can be happy in myself. Under the eye. What I think about other people is nothing to do with them. What other people think of me is nothing to do with me. And the chin. That's a really powerful one. I'm going to stay with that for a moment. Other people's opinions of me are nothing to do with me. Collarbone. My behaviour is nothing to do with other people. My self-expression is nothing to do with other people. And the thumb. It may feel like it's because of other people. First finger. That I'm afraid of the reaction. Middle finger. But really it's my own fears. Ring finger. And the more I can listen to myself, middle finger, the more I understand myself, side of the hand, the more I practice expressing myself to myself, top of the head, the more other people will do that too. Beginning of the eyebrow. The more confident I am in myself, side of the eye, the more confident people will be in me. Under the eye. Nice deep breath. Just breathing there, tapping under the eye for a moment. And just to let that really sink in. That your reaction, people's reactions are nothing to do with you. And under the eye, staying there and repeating after me. All these thoughts about voicing my opinions. Under the nose. All these fears that hold me back. On the chin. All these moments where I could have spoken up and I didn't. Collarbone. All this fear I've had of being seen and heard. Under the arm. All those moments when I haven't believed my own opinion. On the thumb. When I've bitten my tongue because I was worried about what might happen. First finger. Releasing that now. Middle finger. I'm going to practice my own opinion with myself. Ring finger. I'm going to notice the triggers. Little finger. I'm going to feel differently. Side of the hand. I'm going to start by listening to myself. Top of the head. And really hearing myself. Beginning of the eyebrow. I'm going to allow myself to express to myself. Side of the eye. My unconscious mind has been protecting me. Under the eye. It's affected my voice and speaking up. Under the nose. Because it hasn't felt safe to do that before. On the chin. But it is safe. Collarbone. It's safe to be me. Under the arm. It's safe to be confident. On the thumb. A feeling is not a fact. First finger. Just because I feel afraid. Middle finger. It doesn't mean I'm in danger. Ring finger. Letting all of this go. Little finger. Feeling calmer. Side of the hand. Feeling stronger. Good. And hands over your heart. Just for a moment, just check in. Notice how you feel. We're going to tap through and build on some boundaries in a moment. Just any comments or any thoughts that come up from there, if you could share that, that would be great. Welcome. Any of those comments, did they, oh great, lots of yawning. Oh, someone's saying this is so good. Great, I'm really pleased. I'm glad it's helping. Deeply resonates. Perfect, good, glad to hear it. Good. So that all these different aspects and layers that we don't know are there often. And the great thing about tapping in a group, as we are now, even though you can only hear and see me, we are all connected and we've all got the similar things coming up. And when I'm tapping and just saying these things that come to me, I'm connected to you. Can you provide, before the Zoom is over, how I can practice tapping on my own time? Absolutely. Yeah, I'll give you that information at the end. Good. And saying, how many of us are there here? There are 17 of us right now live. Good. Yeah, it's great. Thank you. I know it's growing every time as well. It's lovely. Good. So we're going to build some boundaries now. Nice deep breath. Right back at new school, hated it, became quiet. And that's it. Early pictures, new school. That's such a classic time. The first 6 years of life, it's when we first experience all our emotions for the first time, set our beliefs, make decisions. And if that's not recognized by the people and the adults around you at the time, because you don't even realize, they just go, oh, she's quiet. You know, there's no, oh, I wonder what's going on there. Let's investigate. We just make these decisions and then they're reinforced. But we're not at school anymore. And that's how you now can reassure a younger you to know, do you know what, it's okay. You can still be quiet, but you know, you can feel okay. That's really what we're doing. That's what I mean about resolving frozen moments. Good, so let's build up some boundaries. So just a boundary can be, you can kind of visualize it as a bubble around you or a brick wall. Or maybe some people like to imagine rose bushes or plants or a fence. Close your eyes for a moment and just visualize what a boundary would look like for you. Yawning is a release. Yes, absolutely. Good point. When you feel you want to stretch, maybe your tummy gurgles, you want to yawn, there's some energy movement in your body that's showing a release. Yawning's a really good sign. Crying, laughing, any kind of change. That's why we need to keep drinking water as well when doing this work, because you're physically releasing things from your cells too. So the right school comparison makes sense now. Good. Okay, so coming back to that boundary, what does that boundary look, sound, or feel like to you? Close your eyes, be within your boundary. So this is, as I say, it could be a brick wall, it could be a fence, it could be flowers, it could be a bubble, it could be an energy. How's that feeling? Good, and now make the boundary bigger, as in you've got more space around you. Notice what that feels like. Does it feel strong? Make it smaller, bring it closer to you, make it thicker. Just start to play with this boundary, notice what it feels like. We're just going to do a couple of rounds to build this boundary even stronger. So if it's like a sort of plant, like a hedgeway or something like that, then imagine roots going down. If it's a bubble, feel them making it stronger around you. Again, we're just going to tap on the collarbone while we do this. So we tap on the collarbone a lot because that's about, so we've got a golden egg like a genie in a bottle. Perfect. Prickly hedge, brilliant. Good, that'll protect you, keep you in your, and the boundary is really about you having your safe space with you at all times. Someone's got a cloud, lovely. Great, what does it feel like to be inside this boundary? It's completely under your control. You can change it, you can make it bigger and brighter, you can let people in, you can kick them out. It's completely under your control. So as I say, we tap on the collarbone because this is the kidney meridian, which is associated with trauma, with isolation, separation. A bit further down on the same energy line is a sort of reconnecting with the soul. That's acupuncture meridians. So I often tap just on the collarbone when you're focusing on something, visualizing something, so that you don't have to think about all the rest of it. You can just tap and breathe on this one particular point and you're going to be reinforcing that boundary. So close your eyes, tap on the collarbone, feel that boundary stronger, bigger, brighter. Does it have a smell, a texture, a temperature? Good. And keeping tapping on the collarbone, repeating after me. I have strong boundaries. I'm safe in my boundary. I can make as much noise as I want and I'm safe. I can do whatever I want. Inside my golden egg bubble, Find my prickly hedge. On my cloud, in my boundary. Feeling good in my boundary. Again, make that bigger and brighter. And keep tapping and repeating after me. I'm safe in my bubble. Safe behind my boundary. Safe to be me. My boundary is with me wherever I am. I can make it bigger and brighter and stronger. Smaller and thinner and quieter. I'm safe wherever I am. I'm safe and all is well. Feeling good. Feeling confident. Feeling stronger. Feel the warmth in my body as this boundary grows. Feel the confidence in myself. Life is good and all is well. Lovely. And then you can stop tapping, just breathe into your heart, keep your eyes closed, and let's just travel back through your timeline, back into your past, back to that memory, that moment, and give any younger version of you this boundary. See them behind this boundary. See them protected and safe. Give them the instructions for this boundary. Climb in there with them. And you can take that boundary all the way back to a tiny baby you. And back into your past, forward into your future. So every moment of your life is touched with this boundary. And just imagine or feel every memory and experience reevaluating itself around this boundary. The unconscious can just drop that in to your past. And notice what happens as you do that, the stress that falls away. You might yawn a lot then, you might feel a release. You might feel your shoulders start to drop as you realize that you're safe, that you've always been safe, that you're free and all is well. And then take that boundary into the future and see yourself there with that original intention, giving that presentation, or maybe just being with a friend, being able to speak, noticing what it feels like in this boundary, being successful in whatever you wanted. Make that bigger and brighter. Feel it in every cell of your body. See what you're going to see. Hear what you hear. Feel what you feel as that future you, successful, happy, with their voice, with a strong boundary, confident. Confident in speaking, confident in silence, confident in their own opinion, happy to be you. Again, make that bigger and brighter. Send it out into the world, out into the universe, wherever it needs to go. Take your time. Take a few breaths. And when you're ready, just come back and open your eyes in your own time. And I would love to hear how you found that. So when you're ready, just let me know. Ah, somebody said perfect already. Lovely. I'm glad. Good. So it's quite a journey that we go through. When we what can seemingly be a small issue, like, oh, I find it hard to ask for something that I want, can actually be fundamentally changing in your whole life. So someone's felt cold goosebumps. Thank you. You have such a soothing presence. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. I'm glad. Good. So that future you energy, that image, and that boundary you've created, you can just bring that in around you whenever you need to. Practice using it. It's your friend. Your emotions are your friend. In fact, the fear of speaking up is your friend. It's trying to protect you. The truth is that it's safe to speak up. But that doesn't mean you have to. Good. Lovely. So while people are coming back and telling me how you're doing, I'm just going to want to tell you about a couple of things that I'm running at the moment. So next Monday, 26th of April, I'm doing a live tapping, another live tapping event, a webinar. It's a charity event for a charity called Hope Again for children who've lost somebody. That's the charity, but the tapping is about anxiety. So if you're interested and would like to know more, you can just drop me an email to jemima@stressfreelifeacademy.com, or you can reply to the email that gave you this information for the webinar tonight. Just reply, say, please send me more information. I'll show you how to sign up. That will be 7 o'clock on Monday evening. And really excited about Stress Free Life Academy, my membership site, where we're going to be tapping every day in May. So I'm going to be posting a different video every day in the Academy. So if you don't know about the Academy, it's my online resource. It's all my courses, all my videos, all my audios, all my webinars, everything that I produce, downloads. And it's a paid membership site. It's £25 a month, and you get access to all of that stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can, again, I'll be emailing you information about that and how to sign up. But yeah, in May, I'm going to be putting a different video every day on a different topic. So you can just tune in, find the one that you need. You'll have a tapping video that you can work along with. I also have Q&A sessions every month for the members. So much going on there. And it's really exciting, basically. So if you'd like to know more about that, please let me know. Yeah, and any other, how are you doing now? Let's tune into how you're feeling, what that initial intention was, how close does that feel now? What is the shift? I'd love to hear from you. I know it takes a couple of minutes to come through. May is going to be a good month. Yes, I'm super excited about it. And I don't know if you've seen, someone's feeling positive. Good, great. I don't know if you've seen on social media, I'm doing 100 stress-free days. Tomorrow is day 50 of 100 days. I'm posting a short video every day, and that's on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So I'm on all of those. You'll get links to that as well, but you can just Google Stress Free Life Academy and you'll find those. So that's been really fun. Different tip every day. Good, thank you. Big shift in how I feel about being me in a high stress environment, School Gates. Thank you so much. That was amazing as always. Oh, my pleasure. Yes, see you on Monday. Great, you're going to be there. Yes, of course you are. Good. So thank you so much. It's really flown by. I can't believe it's nearly 8 o'clock already. I really hope you have felt some benefits. I think most people have. Any questions, please let me know. There's a short survey that will be emailed to you as well. Just any thoughts, any comments would be really gratefully received. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Good, thank you. Next month is always the third Wednesday of the month. Once you've registered, you'll get all the reminders for the future webinars. So that's my pleasure. I'm really glad. Thanks so much. Have a lovely rest of the evening. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Good night. I'm going to stop recording, but I'll still be here if anyone wants to chat. Okay. Thanks. Good night.